to another video. Inside dog or outside. Get the water out of the way. Of course, while you're smoking, especially if you're outside during the summertime, keep yourself hydrated. Monster Energy. Orange. So today I will be smoking Montechristo White Series. Yes, Montechristo White Series, and I have a new. It's not a really expensive cutter. It is a vertical cutter. While I was online ordering some more cigars, saw this like $5.99. It is serrated, so I guess this will be like my first serrated guillotine cutter, and it is a vertical Goliath, which is an 80 gauge. So I was, well, let's give it a try. It's the first time trying it since I got it. Let's see here. I don't want to cut too much off. It could be sharper. It's not too bad, as you can see. Now, I probably won't be using this a whole lot. I just got it because it's $5.99. It's 80 gauge. It's serrated, and of course this is a light cigar, and it could be sharper, in my opinion. But then again, you know, ever since going to punches and to V cutters, I prefer those over the guillotine cut. Let's toast it. The smooth could be the draw could be smoother. As you can see, yeah, one of the, I guess the good thing about the guillotine cutter is that it does give you the most surface area. The problem is, of course, if you cut too deep. Now, some do come with like a back plate. It's like a stopper that keeps you from cutting too much off. Of course, this one doesn't have it. Let me kick the cap away there. Yeah, this is a Toro size cigar, but it's not a strong cigar, so I'll be okay. Now it would be one that I could use going on vacation, going on business travels, because if you lose a $5.99, you know, cigar cutter, that's okay. You know, compared to a Cigar, which would be like a $59.99. Now I've taken my Cigar V cutter with me. It is heavy, but I do like it. And Colibri V cutter. You just have to be more careful that you, when you use it, you put it back in your pocket, or you put it back into your satchel. To where these, you know, you can kind of be a little bit less careful, and, you know, just throw it on the table. You know, if there's a cigar smoker there, offer them to use it. Yeah, so I guess in the coronavirus news, I know the Asian countries such as Thailand, Vietnam has lifted their lockdowns, mask, social distancing. They're pretty much fully opened over there. I'm not sure about South Korea and Japan. I know in China they're damn it, dog hair. In certain cities they're fully open, but in some, I guess, where reinfections occurring, like Beijing, they're in full lockdown. You know, mask, social distancing. So, yeah, Taiwan also is in full. They're fully reopened. no mask required, no social distancing. You can gather. Mass gatherings are allowed. So the question is, what did these Asian countries do correctly that the Western countries screwed up on? Well, for one thing, they, of course, they got infected first because China's over there, and of course their government went ahead and implemented social distancing. Lockdown. If you go outside, wear a mask, and wash your hand. Be sanitary. Use sanitary wipes. Wash your hands. And they did all of this during the wintertime, during the flu season. So come summertime, it's like, hey, we're done. Let's reopen and let's enjoy summer. To where here in the West, of course, we did social distancing. We did lockdown. Sanitary, wash your hand. Use sanitary wipes if you can, or use what's call that hand sanitizer if you don't have access to water and soap. If you're at work, at school, and schools are still locked down. Yes, and schools are reopen in Taiwan, Thailand, Vietnam. I think in South Korea and Japan they're reopened too. And of course, Biden, his Freudian slip. I'm pretty sure he meant to say, get our kids back to school swiftly. But of course, it came out where he's like, get our kids to market swiftly, and with all of this, child selling thing that's going on with the Democrats. That's a very big Freudian slip. And of course, a lot of the children that they purchased were from that, Thailand, Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia area. What these guys would go in, and the parents know it too. They'll go in, offer the parents, a fistful of $1 basically. But of course, to us that's nothing. But to them, that's a fortune. They can live off of that for the next 5 years. So it's basically sell your kids into a sex slavery. So I don't know how much these parents love their kids, or it could be that, hey, they got 6 kids and they can sell one. Yeah, so here in the U.S., I'm not even gonna bother with Europe. It's basically the same. Our government seems to. They should have followed what the Asian countries did, which is lockdown, social distancing, washing your hand, and everyone being required to wear a mask. And of course, I was wearing a mask, and I support wearing a mask. Just not now during the summer when it's 105 degrees. And no one's dying from coronavirus. The death toll really hasn't gone up. It's pretty much plateau. And in my opinion, the people getting sick, if you go to the hospital, kind of like the lady in Tennessee, she didn't show any symptoms. She went to the hospital just to get checked because she's going to go visit her parents or her in-laws in Philadelphia or something like that, or is it Michigan? No, it was a lady in Kentucky. So her and her husband were going to go and visit their parents, one of their parents in Michigan. So the lady goes and gets tested, comes back positive. And she's like, okay, I will, follow quarantine. I'll stay at home for the next 14 days. They wanted her to sign basically sign some documentation, pretty much giving up her freedom. Pretty much. She's like, no, I ain't signing it. And I don't blame her. I side with the lady for not signing the documentation, pretty much giving up your freedom. So the police shows up, puts her and her husband in ankle monitors, and are putting them under house arrest. I guess I'm assuming for the next 14 days, because that's the quarantine is 14 days. And like myself been saying, a lot of people been saying, is that everybody who goes to the hospital, or you go to the hospital to get tested, is going to come up positive, even if you don't show any symptoms. You know, you go to the hospital with a broken arm, you got coronavirus. And that's why our numbers are so freaking high, because you know, everyone that goes to the doctor, goes to the hospital, you got coronavirus. But of course, if you look at the number of people who are dying, it's pretty much plateau. Unfortunately, all of the elderlies who live in the old folks home, or the ones who suffered, they've passed away. And of course, what we got left is old folks who live in their own home, or live at home with their kids. Is that a June bug, or is it a cicada? The cigar it is a light cigar, but it's got like a more pungent, a stronger cigar smell to it. Like I said, the draw could be better. The draw is still kind of now the humidor that I took it out of showed a 62% humidity, so it wasn't like a super humid. Actually, that 62 is actually a little bit low, but again, it could be that the cigar was rolled too tight at the factory. Maybe the roller got the leaves crossed, which could happen, causing a. But the main issue with a hard draw cigar is because the cigar has been rolled too tight. And bad leaves too. Like I said, bad leaves, roll too tight, bad leaves. Yeah, so in my opinion, yeah, you know, Governor Abbott should go ahead and lift the lockdown. I don't think Texas is in a lockdown, but we got a mask mandatory. Of course, Walmart has made it mandatory across the U.S. that all of their stores, employees and customers must wear masks, which I'm fine with. That's Walmart's choice. But again, the government should not be making it mandatory. And again, it's summertime, 105. We're not in flu season anymore. And of course, speaking of mask, I guess if I go to the next subject, of course, even fake mask. By fake, I mean masks that just have I was watching some news conference, and there were a few people at the podium at the news conference that was wearing altitude masks, and altitude masks have holes all over it. So they were wearing masks that literally had these designer or holes all over them that's supposed to. I guess what the altitude mask does is what you call that? Trying to think of the word. It simulates you being at a higher altitude, maybe 10,000 feet or whatever. And to me, that's basically what what these masks feels like that we're wearing. It's like I'm up at 10,000 feet. I'm having to breathe deeply, exhale out, wait like a second or two for the carbon dioxide to kind of get away, then inhale again. And I hate going to stores right now because you're having to wear a mask, and and I'm suffering while I'm in the store. So I went out and found, or I purchased online, the thinnest mask I could find. Of course, these are the surgical mask style mask. It's literally one layer. It's literally one layer of paper. The ones that I purchased before was 3 layers. So this one is 1 layer, and it breathes so much easier. You still get the some of your breath does still get blocked when you exhale, and but it's not as bad It's not as bad as my cloth mask, and it's not as bad as my three-layer paper mask. So I'll be using the 1-layer paper mask. Until, of course, we get the okay. So the question's got to be, what did Taiwan do correct? Vietnam, Thailand, pretty much all of the Asian countries. They, like I mentioned, they went into lockdown early. Had people, sanitize, wash your hand, wear a mask if you got to go outside, and that seemed to work. They didn't do anything special. They didn't do anything extra. Now, in my opinion, the social distancing really doesn't work. If you're 6 feet from somebody and the person's hacking and coughing, they got the flu or they got coronavirus, they're going to get you sick. Of course, as I mentioned, wearing mask does help. The more layer mask you wear, the higher the protection. The one layer mask that I purchased, I doubt that one will give me anything more than maybe 25% protection. Be no different than me covering my mouth and nose with my hand. But like I said, there are people walking around with these masks that's got holes in them, and that is defeating the purpose of wearing a mask. But I don't blame them. It's 100 degrees out in most of the U.S. now, and again, we are past flu season. Well, and I'll close it on this. Of course, the statue, and I don't know why Black Lives Matter is in the UK, because according to Black Lives Matter, of course, if you go to their website and look at their I guess organizations, I forgot the word to say, but one of their thing is to dismantle the patriarchy. That basically means dismantle the family, the husband, the wife, and kids. They support single parent household. That's basically what dismantling the patriarchy is. But of course, and according to Don Lemon, and I believe him when he says that Black Lives Matter was not created for the purpose of black on black violence. Black Lives Matter was created for white on black oppression, or white oppression of black people in the U.S. Now, yeah, I think it was you guys have, and if you watch this video, you've probably seen it, where Don Lemon is interviewing Terry Crews, and he makes a mention of that, and of course Don Lemon's like, well, if you want to, if you want to concentrate on black on black violence, then you need to make your own organization, because Black Lives Matter, that's not their thing. It's like, okay, those of us who follow the news knows that's like, okay, hey, Don Lemon, I agree with you. We already knew that. So the question is, why is Black Lives Matter in the UK? For one thing, there have been zero. I was going to do the OK sign. I'll do it like this. Maybe like this. There have been zero. I'll maybe do it like this. There you go. There have been zero black men or black people killed by cops in the UK. Yeah, zero in the last. Well, I looked up 2019. I didn't look up 2018. So there have been zero black men killed by police officers in the UK. The UK didn't have slavery. Yeah, they had indentured servants, but you can't compare indentured servants to slavery, because indentured servants, once you serve your indentured, you are free. You are released of your indentured service. Yes, and a lot of indentured service in the UK were white Irish or Irish people. There were some blacks, but most blacks in the UK uh, are there on their own accord. So there's no slavery, there's no segregation, there's no KKK, there's no Jim Crow. So I'm not sure what Black Lives Matter is complaining about in the UK. There is no white oppression, or there's no white oppression now, or white oppression of blacks back in the day. Of course, they're just there for, I guess I'll use the ghetto term, they're just there for clout, you know. And I'll close it on this. The statue of the black lady, I guess her name is Jen something. And and of course the artist, and of course the statue stayed up for like a day. So what happens is that they tore down a statue of a supposed colonial slave trader. They tore his statue down and threw it into the Thames. So I guess damn, what's his name? His name is Mark something. So basically, a local sculptor who happens to be white saw the black lady Jen, who climbed up on top of the pedestal where the statue used to be, and she rose her. She raised her right hand in the black power, which is to me a racist symbol. Someone took a picture of it, so he calls her up, makes a statue of it. They then put that statue on that podium without permission from the city, and that's when the city took it down. And supposedly there's a photo of the statue being put into a trash bin, probably where it belongs. So it turns out the guy is he's a local artist. He's married to a white woman. You can look up his name, and you can look up her name too. I think his name is Mark something. Of course, he's doing all this for publicity stunt, and of course the Black Lives Matter folks is like, well, we're okay with the statue being taken down because it was made by a white man. What they don't know is that this white man is married to a white woman, and his wife is okay with his extra marital affairs. And of course, he has his side chicks are black women. He has a few black women side chicks, and his wife's okay with it. So Black Lives Matter should, I guess they should retract their statement, because he is, I guess, a white guy who's down with it, And also, people are saying that the black woman who climbed up on that pedestal is also dates white men. So I'm like, okay, so it's like so you got all these people who are race mixing, and yet they're complaining about racism. They're complaining about white people oppressing blacks. Yet these two people are race mixing. So yeah, I know, more hypocrisy of the left. Right, well, that's it. I'm going to sit out here and enjoy my cigar. It is later in the evening. It is cooler. It's a slight breeze, and there's actually no mosquitoes. Actually, I think after like 9, especially after 10, is when the mosquitoes go to sleep. So you probably won't be seeing me out here, in any time around that time, around that 6 to 8 o'clock, that 6 to 9 o'clock, when the mosquitoes are out feeding. Okay, the draw is a lot smoother now. As you can see, the ash is it's building up pretty nicely there. So the draw has gotten a lot smoother, and again, yeah, that cutter's not bad, because some cutters that aren't as sharp, or bad cutters, they'll leave like jagged edges where of course the wrapper will start coming off, and of course pieces will get into your mouth, and you got to be spitting them out. But this one did a pretty good job. It's pretty straight lined, no jagged, no pieces are coming out of my mouth. And yeah, some people do prefer the guillotine cutter only because it cuts off the most, gives you the most I guess removal, as opposed to a V cutter or a punch. And of course the guillotine cutters and some punches are pretty cheap. V cutters too, you know, there are a lot of aftermarket V cutters now you can get for around, you know, $5 to $10. And there's a saying, you get what you pay for. And you know, I probably won't be using this vertical, not vertical. Yeah, it is vertical. This vertical. I probably won't be using it too much because I prefer the V cutter and the punch. But it's not a bad cutter. That's my first, I guess, jagged or serrated blade. And supposedly the blades on these cutters are supposedly self-sharpening, but from my experience, no, they're not self-sharpening. If you the blades will go dull after a year or two, and you know, if you have a Cigar, yeah, you can just take it to a store, you know, and get it replaced. But if you got, you know, a $5.99 one, just buy another one. Okay, well that's it. Thank you for watching. Stay safe. Enjoy your smoke. You know, don't get sick, which you probably won't. Hopefully, where you're at, the lockdown has been lifted. Of course, California is back on the lockdown. As of I think as of Tuesday, California went back into lockdown. Tuesday of this week. So they're back in lockdown. So if you're in a lockdown area, hopefully you're not. Hopefully you're in one of those places like Taiwan or Thailand and Vietnam where it's fully opened up. No social distancing, no mask, no lockdown. All the stores are reopened. Those that haven't gone out of business, that is. All right, thank you, and have a good one.